Well, hey everybody, it's Monday, the 20th day of January, 2025. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. Well, let's go ahead and get started here today. We'll draw a rune from the Elder Futhark bag to represent the above side of things, or the higher self side of your awareness. Let's see what that has to say for us today. We have Vunyo. Now, Vunyo is the 8th rune of the Elder Futhark. It looks like the letter P, but it's about fellowship and joy. It's about harmony, success, and happiness. Let's see, though, what... move my keyboard out of the way here. Let's see what the Geomancy rune has to say for the below side, or the physical reality side, or ego side of things. Is that one there, or is that it? No. Oh, there we go. We have Fortuna Major. Fortuna Major is greater fortune. Now, greater fortune can have to do with success and achievement, but it can also have to do with ego and micromanaging and things like that. So you've kind of got to see this in a dual way. But to create harmony and fellowship with others, then you're going to have to let that go and just view things from a standpoint of success and happiness today. So today promises, anyway, at least rune-wise, to be filled with that happiness and joy and fellowship. And maybe being in the spotlight, maybe something at work. Well, if you're working today, today's a holiday. It's Martin Luther King Day. So it's a holiday, I think, for... I'm retired, so I don't remember. But I think it's a holiday for everybody. And so maybe you're just spending time with your family. I know my grandkids aren't in school today, so hopefully the family is just hanging out together and having a good time. So it could be something like that. Let's cut the deck here, take the lower half, and see what the cards have to say. Okay, well, we have one from each grouping in the tarot. One from the one card, the High Priestess, from the Major Arcana. That's card 2. We have the Three of Swords, which is betrayal, and we have the Knight of Cups. So one from the court, one from the Major Arcana, and one from the Minor Arcana, although the court is also considered part of the Minor Arcana. But if you're looking at, I mean, we don't really have a run on anything. We don't have any dual. We don't have like 2 cards from swords. We have swords, cups. So swords is intellect. Cups is emotions, among other things, intellect and emotions. And then the High Priestess is really about balance and about the subconscious realm. Let's start with her. Here we see the priestess sitting on a stone bench. She's got one foot on this crescent moon here, maiden moon, if you will. She's part of the triple aspect of the Fool and the Magician and the High Priestess. So where the Fool represents the soul taking its leap into form, the Magician then creates the reality, the physical reality, the body, or through the Magician, I should say, the Fool creates that for itself. And then when it comes to the subconscious realm, the Fool is essentially expresses the High Priestess. And here you have the Pillars of Solomon, dark and light, Boaz and Yakin. You have behind her the Tree of Life from the Kabbalah. She's holding the Torah on her lap. You see Maiden Mother Crone here on her head in terms of her crown. But basically, you're looking at, with the High Priestess, you're looking at intuition and wisdom, the divine feminine within, if you will. Basically, the type of subconscious realm where it's the dream, or it can also represent change and balance and alignment. But it also can indicate maybe something that's hidden within, that you're relying on. And when you look at the Three of Swords here, this is generally regarded as betrayal, where you have maybe You see the two swords behind the one in the center. It could be a love triangle, and the one in the center is the one that's being harmed or betrayed. Or undermined in some way. You see the rain clouds and the rain coming down from the clouds above. So you see more than one, and also the heart is also a water element figure, if you will, uh, and and so you're looking at a blend of both water and air here, which is kind of interesting, an interesting balance here, where you're still having to deal with things and struggle with things and figure things out. But now it's pretty clear that something is happening here. And you may need to rely on that inner wisdom, that intuition from the high priestess, that inner realm, that maybe is because the high priestess can also indicate revelation from higher consciousness, to where you may need to rely on that to truly understand what is going on here. Whether it's a betrayal at work, or a love triangle, or friendship, or something that's maybe gone awry, and you're not something's been happening behind your back, essentially, and now you need to figure out what that is, and you may need to rely on your intuition to guide you here, and the inner, the subconscious, to really take you into a place where you can understand what's really beneath the surface here. That would be another way to say it. So you can then make the decisions that you need to make. Now, if we go to the Knight of Cups, knights are dynamic. Okay, you begin with the page, which is the student, and then you have the knight who's completed the education, and now the knight is the individual that is passionate and chivalrous and on a quest, and depending on the suit that you find the knight in terms of the suit of cups, you're looking at somebody who's romantic and chivalrous, passionate, visionary. And whenever I see in this case the cup, it's almost like it's being held out in offering. You see the visor's up, so he's not in battle. You see maybe he's more in protective mode, protecting one's feelings, maybe, or helping you learn to protect your feelings. Then you have up here the sun, very very tiny sun disk here with the wings going out behind. That's generally a symbol of healing and well-being. And so you also see the winding river below him here. So, I mean, this is a very interesting card because it's almost like he's coming here to help you, to offer some kind of guidance or some kind of form of compassion or some kind of support for the fact that you've been betrayed. So there could be something, again, where you need to understand the inner workings of something today, of what led to this, maybe, or what's happening behind the scenes here to cause you some kind of betrayal or undermining. But realize that there is support there for you as well. Who's there to offer compassion and love and kindness and generosity and to help you get into it, and to make you understand that life really is it can be a winding river, but it's a winding river that causes change. And so maybe the change that could result from something like this would be something that is going to move you in a forward direction. The knights have a directionality to them. You're going to see like the Knight of Wands is going to be going back in the other direction. I have to do this backwards here. Whereas this is going forward in life. The other might be trying to go deal with something from the past. So it just seems to me that even though something may be undermining your ability to understand something, or to keep you in the dark about something that's going to ultimately be emotional, there has to be some reason about it so that you can look at it objectively and make the decision you need to make that's best for you, so that you do move forward in a direction that's positive and embraces change and creates its own momentum, maybe, in that regard. But again, I think that there's just an element here where you're either going to reach out to somebody who's there for you, or you're going to embrace your own emotional awareness within and move forward into a different direction. This could be the catalyst for something that needs to happen, in other words. And because they're stabbing a heart, it's going to be emotional, it's going to be upsetting, and it's just time to use that inner wisdom that you have, that intuition you have, to set your own course into something new. And maybe the healing that will take place will propel you into a new direction here. But let's take a look at the, where's my calculator? Let's take a look at the numerology here. So I said we had an 8 for Vunyo. So the joy and fellowship with Vunyo, let me say something here. If we're getting that and we get this, then it tells you maybe what you thought was fellowship and joy and harmony just wasn't. And your greatest fortune is being able to see that and understand the truth of something. Swords is also about truth and deception. And so this may be the day where you realize that you were deceived, and that there's more for you in the future if you either leave this situation or make a change about this situation and focus your attention elsewhere, to where there really is true fellowship and joy. So this may be like a double-edged sword with Vunyo here today, and where your greatest fortune is understanding what's not happening, so that you can move on and do something with your life that makes you happier than what you've been, because you may have kind of thought something wasn't right, or at some point it became clear that something wasn't right, but you really weren't sure, and maybe today you find out. So we can look at it that way in terms of Vunyo. But anyway, we have Vunyo. Let me just clear this out again and start over. 8 plus 2 for the High Priestess, plus 3. So that's 13. 13 reduces to 4, and so there's there's no number for anything in the court. So we have 13, which reduces to 4, and 4 is going to be about your foundation and your structure and feeling grounded. And so if you're feeling like, or you've been feeling like something isn't right, and you think maybe you're being undermined, and you find that out today, that's in fact what's been going on, and you've had to use your intuition and the whole inner wisdom of and higher awareness, basically, to get yourself to step back from it all, to really understand what's going on. If you've had to do that here today, the greatest fortune is understanding that, right? So that you're no longer being subjected to whatever's happening here. And again, this could be a love triangle. It could be something at work. It could be friendship. It could be family. Somebody is doing something, that is not right, and is trying to harm you emotionally and upset you, and doesn't care if you get upset. And so you look at that integration of 3, whereas instead of the integration of, say, the 3 of Cups, which is 3 friends dancing and they're having a wonderful day, which would be a perfect alignment then with Vunyo and Fortuna Major, here you have to use that betrayal, if you will, in a way that teaches you something, and teaches you something about your own inner resolve, and whether or not you're willing to put up with this kind of stuff, or whether you want to move on into something that's more integrated with others and compassionate and loving. And so I think with Vunyo and Fortuna Major, it's saying to you, you need to check in, that whole fellowship with others is not working, that something is happening behind the scenes, and that's seeking to undermine that for you. And again, using the intuition and higher awareness that from the subconscious that the High Priestess offers, you can get above it and you can see it, that there's a process in life you go through, that you learn from, and that maybe you go through to try to experience certain things in life that maybe you didn't experience in other incarnations, and now in this one, this is what you need to experience, or you've chosen to experience it, to understand the greater lesson that's there, basically, that you can't depend on others necessarily for your emotional security, because they can do things to undermine you. It's really got to come from within. And the Knight, being on its quest to offer that to others, that support, that love, that kindness, that understanding, the passion, that's really your own quest, and it cannot be dependent upon other people to do that. And so you manifest your own joy. It's not dependent upon others. You manifest your Fortuna Major, your greater fortune. It's not dependent upon others, because obviously others can try to mess that up for you. And so that sort of thing has to begin within. And I think that the High Priestess is also suggesting that it has to come from within you, expressing that higher form of fellowship and joy in your life, and not have that dependent upon the behavior of other people, or their decision to make you happy. Nobody can make you happy. You just generate that on your own. And that may be the higher purpose behind Vunyo here today. I just think that Vunyo is also known as the wish rune, and it's also about being successful and being happy, but that comes from within. Again, it can't be dependent on others, because others will betray you. Maybe that's the way to say that here. And so to take off on your own quest today, to express that in your life to other people, that gratitude, that love, that happiness, that joy, that the fellowship that you will engage with others when, because that's coming from you, not dependent on what they're doing. It's just something that you manifest on your own. So irrespective of the circumstances you find yourself in. So that may be another way to say it. So anyhow, I think that's it for Monday. Check out the blog over at Stepping Aside. Everything's out for the spellcasting correspondences are out for the week. The forecast for the week is out. And I'll also do a short write-up on this, just a summary of it, and put that up here after I upload it to YouTube and get it published. Then I'll get that up there on the blog as well. I'll also post it over on Medium and Substack. Links to all that, if you click on more below the video, are all there. Right at the top is the website address, imsteppingaside.com. Scroll down further and you'll see the links for where else I am and where I write and all of that. I tend to cross-publish from my blog over to other places as well. So at least part of it is published there. Not all of it, but some of it is. But anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good Martin Luther King Day. And, you might want to listen to some of his speeches today and be inspired. And come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.